die hier vorgetragen hat, weil nicht jeder Versuch war immer mit Initiative von den politischen Parteien da. Wir haben eine sehr lange Erfahrung, eine sehr lange Tradition, was eigentlich oder haben immer für ihre Rechte gekämpft. Wir haben das erfahren im Oktober 21 und wir haben es im März, April 86 auch erfahren. Wir haben es in verschiedenen Situationen immer wieder erlebt, dass die Sudanesen sich nicht biegen lassen. Und auch heute werden die Sudanesen sich nicht biegen lassen, weil sie sehr gründlich auch überlegen, sehr gründlich an die Freiheit glauben und sehr gründlich auch an ihre Rechte glauben. Da bin ich 100% davon überzeugt, dass die Sudanesen eines Tages das auch wieder schaffen werden. Warum dauert das Halten? Vom Dezember bis heute gehen die Menschen auf der Straße, gehen die Menschen nach draußen und versuchen, sich gegen das Regime zu stellen. Meines Erachtens, die Situation ist heute im Sudan etwas anders. Natürlich, das Leiden ging immer seit 1989 bis heute. Die 30 Jahre waren nicht ohne. Die Menschen haben gehungert. Wir sind alle, die hier leben, Sudanesen, die hier leben in Deutschland, sind geflüchtet. Wir sind nicht hier einfach freiwillig hierher gekommen. Wir sind geflüchtet aus den verschiedenen Gründen. Ob das mit dem Krieg in Südsudan zu tun hatte, mit dem Krieg in den Nuba-Bergen, mit den aktuellen Repressionen in den verschiedenen Regionen des Sudans. Das letzte, ab 2004 in Darfur, das kontinuierliche Toten und Säuberung von Menschen in die Region. Warum fliehen die Sudanesen nach draußen und warum gehen sie auf der Straße? Ich vermute, ihr Wille ist einfach ununterbrochen. Ihr Interesse an Freiheit ist ununterbrochen. Was ich heute sehe, dass die Sudanesen sind 100% überzeugt, dass das Regime kann nicht lange einfach an der Macht bleiben. Warum? Vielleicht gibt es die Möglichkeit, darüber nochmal sich zu unterhalten. Was sind die genauen Veränderungen, die innerhalb des Regimes stattgefunden haben, das dazu führte, warum die Sudanesen heute mehr überzeugt sind, dass das Regime, was seit 30 Jahren an der Macht sitzt und heute Dutzende von Menschen getötet hat, warum es nicht lange an der Macht bleiben darf. Danke.
Thank you so much. Manan has mentioned already, or she said, why many Sudanese had to flee to Germany. And this will be more or less actually the question that I'm going to ask tonight. I said at the beginning that that our aim actually in Berlin to raise more attention, because what's happening now in Sudan has not been covered properly by the media if you compare it to other events in other countries. So we ask ourselves, many people ask themselves, why people in Europe, in Germany, do not hear about what's happening in Sudan? Like, one possible answer for that is that the President al-Bashir is an important figure for Europe, for the European Union, concerning like Khartoum deal, concerning like war against refugees in Sudan. And many of you might already know that since 2014, the EU has made an agreement with Sudan. I wouldn't say that much about that. You would say maybe, but just to mention, 2014, they made a Khartoum deal. So Sudan has to, according to this deal, Sudan has to close its western borders, and in return, Sudan got a lot of money, still getting a lot of money for this work. So the question is, for me, Sudan is an important hub for migration. Geographically, if you have a look at the map, Sudan is connecting like west and east Africa to the Mediterranean Sea. So Sudan is an important country for Europe. Could you say a little bit about Khartoum deal? What is it about? So the European Union perspective, they keep saying it is for better migration management, with increased stability in Sudan and in the region. But what would you say on that?
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I think the time is not for talk, the time for actions, but we are planning to wear awareness fairs for those people that don't have any information about Sudan. And to come to the question, just to correct you, Mahdi, because the process started in 2014, and the establishment of this agreement was 2016 April, and it was published here in TAX. If you Google, you can find more information about it. The aim of the deal, they have two elements. One of it that is EU, and especially Germany, also in hands of that. They want to keep refugees back home because they want to support the dictator, Omar al-Bashir. They want to also to prevent a refugee coming to Europe. And the other aim is also to deport those people who are refugees from Sudan in Europe. And that has happened, and I was witness in 2016, I was in Italy, documenting that in the refugee camps in Milano. And yes, there are people who are deported after this agreement. And the deportation was, I can call it as a kidnap. It's not a deportation, because they asked them to come to the camp to process their papers. They're cheating them. And then they came, and then after that, they put them in the plane back home to Sudan. And imagine to support this kind of issues, like deal with Sudan. I don't know what is, they call it Sudan decoration, actually, and business. Because EU, they're afraid what happened in Syria and Libya could happen in Sudan. This is why they try to support dictators like Omar al-Bashir, using a lot of money. And this money also, they have, I will come to this point later, but to support the dictator, to support the country that they have a lot of corruptions, we have a genocide, and I think that they have, beyond this supporting, they have something, it is like empowering the government and killing more people. In 2016, those people, they was deported back. And the aim, as I said, is deportations. That those people, when they reach Khartoum airport, they ask them a question. If you have a family in Khartoum, you will stay. If you are from the region where they have a conflict, like Darfur, Numa Mountain, those people, they were silent up to now. We don't know any information about them. And I have one witness from Italy, and I was following them until 2017, that the person was deported. He has a paper in Italy. But none of the government of EU or Italy was standing for any kind of support for those people, you know? They made the deal, they sent back the people to the government. This is what the deal about. And if you read the newspapers or anything about the EU deal with Sudan, they have four figures. They said we're supporting Sudan because we want to find a job, making shelters. And the third thing, they want to make health care and to stop refugees fleeing from these countries through Sudan to Europe. And imagine in Sudan we have more than 30,000 refugees from Eritrea, Ethiopia, and more other countries. And then we have our own refugees from the region. And the aim is, as I said, is not about that, it's about how EU controlling the borders, how EU they want to make a plan to deport those refugees in Europe.
Thank you, May. The last question goes to Muntasir. I mentioned at the beginning that the most significant thing about the current administration in Sudan is that they're not directly led by the political parties. It's rather led by Tejmع المهنيين, the Sudanese professional association. And the question to you, what is the Sudanese Professional Association?
First of all, let me thank you for this opportunity. If you are sitting here at this hall tonight, it means you want answers. You are here on your own time because you care about what is happening in Sudan. And you want to make sure that is the group that is leading on the ground do care about it as much as you do. You want to make sure that SPA will bring real solutions after the removal of this fascist regime, not just bandages or slogans. Well, I'm not going to waste any of your time. My main focus will be on what is new in the Sudan, who are the Sudanese Professional Association, and what is the background of this crisis in the Sudan from our perspective, and who are the protesters and what are their demands. It has been reported that the protests in Sudan now are the biggest protests the country has witnessed since the uprising in 1985. Anger has risen significantly after reports of the brutal torture and killing of several people in the regime's prisons, known as ghost houses, a phenomenon that has characterized the regime's rule since its outset, intensifying in its activities at time the regime has felt under threat. The brutal killing of the protesters has sparked an backlash against the regime. Indeed, this has been described as a social uprising more than it is a political uprising. The slogan of the revolution, "Let it fall, that is all," has been repeated and adopted by every sector of the society and infiltrated every home and every workplace. The impact has been immense. A striking observation is that children and family members of the prominent government and National Congress Party NCP leaders are among the protesters. We know for a fact that there is an internal conflict in the government that is clear, and it was more dramatic after the announcement made by al-Bashir in his speech on the 22nd of February. As a technique they are playing in the extra time, al-Bashir is struggling to win by presenting himself as a national figure, inventing techno to work along his side while he is forming a military government in the next day, thinking in his delusional mind that we can forget that he was the key player in all Muslim Brotherhood governments that ruled Sudan in the last 30 years. Distancing himself from NCP and getting closer to the army shows us that the army itself is moving in their own direction and benefits. And that is why al-Bashir tried taking their side to gain their support. Who are the Sudanese Professional Association? Sudanese Professionals Association is an independent professional alliance body which is started actually in 2011 by writing the first charter of professionals. Among the components initiated the association are the Central Sudan Physicians, the Central Sudan Physicians Committee, the Sudanese Journalists Network, the Sudanese Engineers Syndicate Reclaim Initiative, and the Democratic Lawyers Alliance. The gathering of professionals in an extension of the long history of Sudanese professionals and attempts was distorted because of the narrowing of freedom margin and depriving professionals of the right to unionization. There have been many historical attempts to create active bodies for professionals, to defend them and improve their situation, most notably the experience of forming an alliance body for professionals in 2011, 2014 and 2016. The SPA currently includes 8 syndicates. All are united under common charter and goals, the Professionals Charter, announced in mid-2018, along with a large number of professional bodies that have announced their support for the Charter of Freedom and Change proclaimed on the 1st of January 2019. After the revolution started in 19th of December 2018, the Sudanese Professionals Association is a collective body that is independent from the government-allied unions. This need to be clear. It's independent from the government-allied unions, created as parallel initiatives. We aim to redress the perceived undemocratic structures of the official unions. The difference between the Sudanese revolution and what is happening on the other countries is very important, and we need to focus on it. The difference is the former in Sudan is led by a technocratic movement that is coordinating the overseeing of the protests. On the 3rd of February 2019, professors, lecturers, and staff of Al-Nilan University, one of the biggest universities in the country, picketed on the grounds of the campus denouncing the killing of protesters and pledging alliance to the people's movement. Similar action was taken by the University of Khartoum staff at hospitals, in schools, and in front of courthouses and headquarters for various professional institutions as a form of protest that has characterized the revolution. A schedule of protest activities is issued every few days by the Sudanese Professional Association. Forms of protest include demonstrations, marches, night gatherings, occupation of public space, strikes. All of them peaceful means are principle that has characterized these revolutions since it broke out in mid-December 2018. One of its main slogans being Silmiya, which means peaceful. What has triggered the revolts is the general breakdown of system and institutions, which have left the people in great distress. Omar al-Bashir has ruled the Sudan for almost 30 years. The Darfur crisis in the west of the country started in 2003 and led to displacement, environmental destruction, the emergence of tribalism, and numerous armed factions, some of them armed by the government itself. These crimes led to a call for the president to be indicated by the International Criminal Court. Also in 2013, a youth uprising erupted and was brutally suppressed with the killing of an estimated 200 young protesters. No investigation or prosecution was ever carried out. The secession of the South in 2011 led to an even deeper economic crisis as well as more racism and a deep belief that the dividing that happened in our country stands as one of the biggest crimes committed by this regime. The country is undergoing the most severe crisis in its modern history. The people of the Sudan are protesting their loss of basic human rights, freedom of expression, access to fuel, bread, medicine. The comparison to the Arab Spring have been strongly rejected by all protesters. We believe that this is the third mass uprising in the Sudan. The October Revolution in 1964 and the April Revolution of the 1985, both having led to a peaceful regime change. Another matter that is protesters have objected to is the delusion of the main trigger of the uprising by some media, stating that economic difficulties are the only reason for discontent. We strongly demand that our calls for regime change to be heard. The government is trying to solve the economic problems with measures that have repeatedly failed. The economic crisis will only be solved through political change, which could open the way to stop conflicts and redirect resources to restructure the economy. Political change will allow the active fighting of corruption, reforming the civil service, and ending the state of one-party dominance in the favor of the citizen state. Protests have been met by the use of excessive force. Fatalities caused by live ammunition are increasing daily. People are having difficulty accessing the internet because of the blockage made by the government. The ongoing uprising currently raging through the country is being faced by the detention of thousands and gruesome killing of tens of peaceful protesters. A number of people have been confirmed dead due to the torture while under arrest in the regime's prisons. Ahmad Al-Khair Awad Al-Karim is a high school teacher in the eastern town of Khashm Al-Girba. He was detained for a few days, after which his family was asked to come and receive his body on the 2nd of February. Officials have denied any torture and claim that his death was on natural causes. However, the post-mortem reveals brutal and multiple body injuries. Farid Abdullah Umar and Hassan Talga have also died in the prisons of the regime in the state of South Kordofan. Reports through independent organizations state more than 57 dead until today, though the exact number is uncertain. A lot are inspired by the youth-led Sudanese revolution, its non-violence and anti-racism chants, its pro-woman intentions, and its vision for a new Sudan, singing peaceful and the whole country is Darfur. The protesters have been met with incredible aggression. Another issue that the protesters have raised is that of religion being used by the government towards their political intentions. Many chant and believe that this form of religion is alien to us and a misrepresentation of Islam itself. We see the use of religion as a cover for a dictatorship that is trying to protect itself and wants to remain in power at all costs. The president has even used Quranic verses incorrectly to justify the use of force on protesters, many of whom are committed Muslims themselves. While it started off as small pockets of protests here and there, it quickly spread across many regions, cities and small towns across the whole country. It has also led to massive mobilization and organization led by different groupings, most notably the Sudanese Professional Association and other parties. Different sectors of society are now organizing themselves and setting up the structure of a highly disciplined and powerful manner in preparation for further resistance, as well as anticipation for the future. Once the current regime is gone, the fact that the regime must go is seen as a non-negotiable fact for us. As a conclusion, we issued in our declaration on the 1st of January 2019, which is our end game as Sudanese citizens, as professional groups, and as political forces, which was our results of our analysis of how to face a regime that is capable of reproducing itself for the last 30 years. Please allow me to take the liberty of reading only the first goal in our declaration. We, the people of Sudan, across cities and villages, in the north, the south and east, and the west, join our political and social movements, trade unions and community groups in affirming through this declaration that we will continue the course of peaceful struggle until the totalitarian regime is removed and the following goals are achieved. The first goal, the immediate and unconditional end of General Omar al-Bashir presidency and his regime. In these circumstances, and mainly after declaring the martial laws in Sudan on 22 February 2019 from the fascist regime, we appeal. We appeal to all human rights and humanitarian organizations to intervene to save the lives of many more protesters who are being held in prisons. The more attention we draw to their plight, the less the possibility that they will be tortured or killed. We call on the international community to hold the government of Sudan accountable for its actions. Let me take the next points in a different language, and I hope Mihira will translate, because it's a speech directed from the SPA to the Sudanese citizens. طيب يا شباب، أول حاجة أنا بتشرف اليوم إنه أنا موجود بين كوكبة من السودانيين في المهجر شايلين هم الوطن. أكيد مهما شلنا هم الوطن ومهما ناضلنا في سبيل تغيير هذا النظام، ما حنكون نفس النضال والصراع اللي بيعانوه الشباب السوداني داخل الوطن، الداسين على الجمر، واللي بيعانوا من الاعتقالات، واللي بيعانوا من القتل الممنهج.
He's welcoming everybody here, and special thanks to those who are caring about Sudan, to those not Sudanese and still caring about what is going on in Sudan. And he said to the Sudanese who are here working for what is going on in Sudan, we are doing we are doing nothing comparing to what Sudanese actually in Sudan on the ground have done and still doing. Als nächstes spreche ich Deutsch, weil ich glaube, jeder hier schon kann Deutsch verstehen. Gibt es ein paar Leute, die Englisch Übersetzer oder Übersetzerin brauchen? Nein? Deutsch, ja? Deutsch.
الحالة الآنية أو الوضع الآني الآن هو إصدار قرارات الطوارئ اللي هي لا تمت بأي حال من الأحوال للشرعية بصلة. البشير بيصدر حالة الطوارئ في البلاد، وثاني يوم أو ثالث يوم، ثاني يوم بيعين حكومة عسكرية، ثالث يوم بيصدر قرارات، 4 قرارات طوارئ حسب قانون الطوارئ نفسه المجاز من قبل النظام في 1997، إنه على رئيس الدولة أن يقدم إعلان حالة الطوارئ للبرلمان بعد إعلان حالة الطوارئ للإجازة في ظرف 15 يوم. لم تتم هذه الموافقة، وتمت هذه المسرحية الهزيلة.
Derzeitige Situation im Sudan ist, al-Bashir hat schon erklärt, der Emergency Situation, und hat gerade eine andere Regierung, militärische Regierung, einfach eingesetzt. Und was er schon gemacht und was wurde als nächstes gemacht, hat nichts zu tun mit Recht. Oder Parlamentsrecht.
الوضع الآن في السودان اختلف عن بداية الحراك في ديسمبر. التنسيق الآن أصبح تنسيق على مستوى القواعد، أصبح تنسيق على مستوى تكوين لجان المقاومة في الأحياء، أصبح تنسيق على مستوى تكوين فرعيات انتفاضة داخل السودان وخارج السودان لدعم هذا الحراك بصورة منتظمة. دي نقطة من النقاط المهمة جدا، إنه الناس تنظم نفسها، تدعم الحراك في السودان بالطرق التي تراها هي مناسبة. تجمع المهنيين السودانيين اتخذ طريقه في التنظيم، تجمع المهنيين السودانيين ينسق في قيادة الثورة، هو ضمن عدد من التنظيمات وعدد من القوى، ولكن هذا لا يمنع المواطنين السودانيين داخل السودان وخارج السودان في تنظيم أنفسهم وتقديم الدعم بما يروه مناسبا لهذا الحراك.
Einsätze der Revolution in den Nachbarschaften über widerstehende Kräfte und auch die Sudaneser draußen und eigentlich draußen und in Sudan auch müssen sich selbst organisieren.
هذا الحراك شارك فيه عديد من التنظيمات السياسية، شارك فيه عديد من القوى المدنية، شارك فيه عديد من النقابات. تجمع المهنيين ما أنشئ امبارح ولا أنشئ في الثورة، ولكن تجمع المهنيين أنشئ منذ 2011. كان هناك إعلان لمسيرة للبرلمان منذ بداية نوفمبر محدد تاريخها في 25 ديسمبر للحراك نحو البرلمان في مظاهرة مطالبة بزيادة الأجور. وحينما بدأ الحراك في 19 ديسمبر تم تغيير مطالب هذه المسيرة من قبل تجمع المهنيين إلى مطالبة بتنحي النظام بسبب القتل الذي مورس في عبر والقضايف.
SBS, Sudanese Professional Association, hat schon seit langer, also bevor diese Revolution angefangen, und hat schon eine Demo am 25. Dezember eingeplant. Und diese Demo sollte eigentlich zum sudanesischen Parlament durchgehen, um die Wages, also die Gehälter in Sudan aufzuheben, ich glaube, ja.
التنظيمات السياسية هي قوى، هي تحالف قوى الإجماع الوطني، قوى نداء السودان، والاتحاد التجمع الاتحادي المعارض، وانضمت إليهم مبادرة أساتذة جامعة الخرطوم والحزب الجمهوري. كل هذه التنظيمات السياسية توافقت على رؤية إعلان قوى الحرية والتغيير في 1 يناير، وتم إعلان وتشكيل قوى الحرية والتغيير، ومنذ 1 يناير هذه هي القوى التي تقود هذا الصراع أمام السلطة الغاشمة في السودان للحصول على الحرية والديمقراطية. قدمنا البديل الديمقراطي، ميثاق الحرية والتغيير أولا، مشروع البديل الديمقراطي، والملحق السياسي لميثاق الحرية والتغيير، وأيضا تم تقديم قراءات مبدئية حول الدستور المرحلة الانتقالية. من أهم المطالب فترة انتقالية 4 سنوات، إسقاط هذا النظام والدولة العميقة، وأن تكون النقابات، وأن يكون هذا الحراك الآني هو الحارس للسلطة والحارس للديمقراطية والحارس لتحقيق هذه المبادئ في الفترة الانتقالية.
Was sind die Hauptoppositionskräfte, die in der Erklärung der Freiheit und Wechseln untergeschrieben haben? Sie sind Sudan Call, Public Party und andere Zivilkräfte. Eine von denen ist die Federal Opposition Association. Was haben diese Kräfte zusammen untergeschrieben oder zusammen vereinbaren? Sie haben gesagt, wir müssen unbedingt eine demokratische Alternative auswählen. Noch dazu Machtwechseln und eine Übergangsphase-Regierung einzusetzen oder einfach von der Bevölkerung auszuwählen.
بنجي لنقطة مهمة اللي هو المحاور الخارجية والقوى الإقليمية ودعمها لهذا النظام من عدمه. البعاين لحال الصراع من بداية الثورة في منتصف ديسمبر إلى الآن بيجد تباين في الموقف تماما للمحاور الخارجية. المحاور تأرجحت ما بين داعمة للنظام في بداية الحراك، واقفة وجودها في موقف الحياد في فترة يناير وبداية فبراير، والآن تحول عدد كثير جدا من المحاور الخارجية بعيدا عن هذا النظام. نحن نفهم تماما أن السياسة هي ليست عواطف، هي مصالح إقليمية، ونفهم ارتباط بعض الدول مع هذا النظام بمصالح. ما نقدمه على هذه الطاولة أن المصالح مع نظام ديمقراطي قد تكون أكثر من هذه المصالح مع هذا النظام الشمولي اللي هو متردد ومتقلب في تحالفاته على مر 30 عام الماضية، وخصوصا على مر 10 سنوات الماضية. لا يستطيع محور من المحاور الإقليمية الاعتماد على هذا النظام في أي أجندة، حيث يتقلب النظام بين هذه التحالفات وهذه المحاور.
Fremde Eingriffe sind schon vorhanden. Es gab ein paar Länder und Koalitionen, die schon die Sudanese Revolution unterstützen. Aber es gab auch Länder, die neutral sind. Wir versuchen einfach oder wir arbeiten zusammen, um die Stimme dieser Länder in der Sudanese Revolution weiter zu gewinnen.
في الختام أنا بشكر جميع الحضور على استماعهم وبعتذر عن الإطالة، ولكن الرسالة المهمة يا شباب إنه أنت دورك شنو؟ غير إنك حزنت أو غضبت أو استئت من الحاصل، دي مرحلة جيدة، ولكن دورك شنو؟ أنت قاعد تقدم شنو للحراك؟ أنت ممكن تكون مفيد كيف للحراك الحاصل، داعم كيف لميثاق الحرية والتغيير وللبديل الديمقراطي ولوطن يسعى الجميع. أنا بعتذر عن الإطالة مرة أخيرة وبشكركم جميعا وشكرا جزيلا.
Vielen Dank und entschuldigen Sie mich für diese lange Beiträge und Reden. Aber wir müssen uns auch noch fragen, was sind unsere Rolle als Sudaneser und Nicht-Sudaneser Unterstützer und Unterstützerin für diese Revolution. Vielen Dank.
Also vielen Dank an euch alle. Thank you so much. And now you'll have the opportunity to ask questions or to comment on what's been said. The question can be asked in English or German or even Arabic. Yes, please.
أنا سؤال للباشمهندس المنتصر، سؤال بس في موضوع السياسة بسيط. بالنسبة للقوى الموقعة على الحرية والتغيير اللي هي معروفة أنت ذكرتها من قبل، شفنا بعد طبعا في مبادرات كثيرة تقدمت عشان تلتف حول تجمع المهنيين، ومن أمثلتها مثلا حزب الإصلاح الآن غاية صلاح الدين وحزب الأمة الإصلاح الجديد برئاسة مبارك الفاضل. المبادرة حقتهم في الأول في آخر ديسمبر طبعا كان رفضت من كلا الطرفين، سواء المؤتمر الوطني أو تجمع المهنيين، وكانت أول مرة إنه التجمع والمؤتمر يتفقوا في حاجة. المرة الثانية لما ناس غازي قدموا وقاموا عملوا الجبهة الوطنية للتغيير، طبعا التجمع ما زال على موقفه من موضوع الرفض، لكن لقينا في موافقة شفناها شفتها شخصيا في الأخبار مني أركم الناوي، وباعتباره من السودان ومن صديق المهدي باعتباره رئيس حزب الأمة القومي. فبس سؤالي في موضوع إنه التجمع هل هو بقى على موقفه ولا يعني الأحزاب دي أو مثلا حركة مني أركم الناوي وصديق المهدي حزب الأمة القومي هم ده رأي بيلزموا لنفسهم ولا للحرية والتغيير؟ هقول السؤال ثاني معلش بالإنجليزي قبل ما يجاوب لست الحضور.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll just translate my question. My question for Mohandas Mutasil, engineer, is representative of the Sudanese professional engineers. The pre-formed Declaration of Freedom and Change, with the whole involving parties and movements, rebels. I think it's known for the audience. Some of bodies and some of alliances were organized around the powers and parties of this declaration, and especially Sudanese Professionals Association. The SPA is actually the leading body in the Sudanese revolution on the ground, and other parties and powers in the opposition are also involved. So we have heard in the last of December last year that it has been a long process of dialogue in Sudan, in case if you heard of it, mentioning that there is over 100 parties at the moment in Sudan. And 22 of them were forming a front, and they wanted to be involved also and signing the Declaration of Freedom of Change. The Sudanese Professional Association hasn't accepted this initiative because they claim that they had some hands in the regimes back in the day. And after a month, it was formed a new front called the National Front for Change, ruled by Ghazi Salahuddin, a well-known politician who was involved in the regime but positioned himself with the new party, with the new body. So my question is, after this introduction, about the current situation, because this is just it's confusing for me seeing different responses from the same body, from another bodies involved in the Declaration of Freedom of Change.
طيب انا هجاوب بالعربي وبالانجليزي على اساس انه نغطي الموضوع ده بسرعه و
I think just English.
أول حاجة تجمع المهنيين السودانيين هو ليس الوكيل الوحيد للحراك في السودان. السودان مليان حول والدة، أي سوداني عنده الحق يتجمهر ويتجمع حول ما يريد من أفكار. نحن قدمنا ميثاق الحرية والتغيير. المؤمن بميثاق الحرية والتغيير، المؤمن بإسقاط النظام زي ما بنقول عندنا في السودان حباب وعشرة. المؤمن بالإسقاط الناعم، بالهبوط الناعم، بالتغيير وإبقاء السلطة كما هي، ده احنا بالنسبة لنا مرفوض. غازي صلاح الدين هو إسلامي معروف، احنا مشكلتنا ما مع الإسلاميين، احنا مشكلتنا مع خطط إعادة إنتاج السلطة لنفسها منذ 89 وحتى الآن. هذه السلطة تعيد نفسها وتعيد إنتاج نفسها. دي النقطة بالنسبة لنا محسومة. What I was trying to say is SPA is one of the initiatives in Sudan. There is a lot of initiatives in Sudan, and it's freedom, okay, and they need to feel free that anyone believes that he has a solution to present his solution. We presented our solution as in our declaration, and who is on the page with us, we will support. And who have his solution, he can present his solution. We are fighting to be an open country, a free country. So how we can force someone to come only to our solution, but also we will not be forced to come to other people's solution, because we know that the Muslim Brotherhood kept reproducing themselves since the 1989 they ruled this country. Ghazi Salahuddin is one of the Muslim Brotherhood leaders who was even on the militia on 1978 that tried to control the country. A lot of people doesn't know this. We are trying to analyze what happened in Sudan, and we are trying to stop the reproduction of this Muslim Brotherhood. They kept controlling this country. They kept their fascism regime, and we are against this. That's why we made on our declaration the step down of Omar Bashir and all his government. Okay, who is with us on this page? We are welcoming them. If Mubarak al-Fadil or whatever from the other parties, we are welcoming. But we all need to know that the 100 parties that are now in Sudan or more are caused by this regime itself. They are not only secessioned the South, they secessioned all the parties in Sudan to two sections, 3 sections. A lot of parties have been sectioned to more than 10 sections. One of them is Al-Ummah, Al-Ittihadi, a lot of parties in this country. They are keeping, and also the revolutionary groups that are fighting also have been secessions by force and by strategy from this government. Now they are putting decorative parties in their side, and we are fighting on the ground for the past 2 months, and we will forgive only, and we will go to other agendas than the agenda we are submitting, only in one condition, that the debt, they should come and they should forgive first, because more than 57 have been killed and we have been witnessing. And personally, I have witnessed all these from live, from our operative in the ground. They have been giving us live videos, and we have seen the government in their political arms, in their forces, shooting people, killing them in the ground. If those people came back and forgive, then we will forgive.
Not forget to mention that Al-Ummah party, with the leading of Al-Fadil, they already published on the mainstream media. They are currently supporting the current regime in Sudan. So what I would like to say, they are trying to get the stick from the middle. You know, they are trying to. We are with the one who is gonna win. Simply is so.
Thank you. I think there is a point should be like just to make sure that everyone understands what is being said now. So the declarations that Muntasir was talking about is here. So you will find it in your seats and also on the table just next to the entrance. And the Sudanese Professional Association has made this project, and like some parties just signed it and other not.
We, as forces, SPA and the other political groups, we sit together and we announce this as a project, as a conclusion for the struggle that started in December. This was announced on the 1st of January as a common project for all the signed parties in this declaration. And we stand for it.
Thank you for correcting me. Anyway, we'll find it in your seat. Here, just look like this.
أنا عندي سؤالين. مبدئيا شكرا جدا. أول سؤال، حضرتك ذكرت في الأول إن يعني بتستبعد النضال في السودان والثورة الموجودة هناك عن الربيع العربي، فأنا كنت حابة حضرتك يعني تشرح عن ده أكتر. والسؤال الثاني له علاقة، يعني هو مش سؤال استنكاري، هو فعلا أنا حابة يعني أعرف وجهة نظر حضرتك. والسؤال الثاني له علاقة بالنضال النسوي، لأي مدى هو جزء من النضال الثوري الموجود دلوقتي على أرض السودان. I posed two questions. The first question is about the distancing from the Arab Spring you were mentioning before, and I just want to understand and do you want you to elaborate a little bit on that? And the second question is about the feminist agenda in the uprising. How do you see it and how do you include it in your work as well?
First of all, thank you for raising those two questions. And this revolution has broken a lot of taboos. One of them is the control that was made by this regime on women. The women are in the front of the lines of these revolutions, and even some people don't know this, but our signal to start any protest is our women's
Girl sound. Girl sound. Something like girl sound.
It's a traditional sound made in parties in Sudan, made by women. This is our signal in all the protests. In the past, yes, that one. In the past 2 months. This is our signal in everywhere. A lot, even the government, they are confused. They are in the market. They are seeing everyone. Suddenly, the sound is up from one of the women are there, and all of the people are in the front lines, and they are marching towards their protests. So we believe that the woman now is going to take the normal location in her normal location in leading the society. This is regarding this question. Regarding the Arab Spring, we believe we are not talking less about other communities, revolutions, or their struggle. We support every struggle for freedom in the whole world, but there is one thing we all need to know, that we have been through this a lot. We repeated this in now that we have been through this in 64, we have been through this in 85, and especially now there is a technocratic people leading this. We are organizing the protests. We are organizing on the ground. We have our committees on the ground. We have our people. We have worked for this to lead it to the way that we all want peacefully. And even though the regime killed more than 57 on the ground, even though there are more than 2,000 people in the prisons of this regime only on the past 2 months, but our slogan is still peaceful, Silmiya. And we will keep this slogan. And the most important thing that all the other revolutions, they did not took in their consideration the power of the regional and the worldwide access. There are benefits, there are common benefits between a lot of countries, and we have our calculations regarding this, and we have our side, and we believe that even though there are some benefit for the EU, for the West, or for the Gulf area with this regime, we believe that, we deeply believe that these benefits will be more in a democratic and in a peaceful government and after the revolution, because we have even programs for this made especially by diplomatic professionals in this association, and this is what we think that will keep us away from the other revolutions end. Thank you.
I think, you want to start something to that?
I think regarding to your questions, because you said what Arab Spring, no? First of all, we are Africans. We are inherited in the country by Arab, but we are African originally. This is the thing we have to mention. And the second thing is, the Arab Spring has different dynamic, you know. our revolutions is made with different kind of problem backgrounds. It's not only just an uprising because of an Arab Spring now is uprising. We have a history of war between South and North. We divided into two countries. We have the problem, the genocide in Nuba Mountain. We have genocide in Darfur. This revolution or this uprising is not just coming like surprising, but it's a lot of problem that this was, the caps is full. When the cap is full, the water is come out. This is the reason now. People that was being forced and violated and get raped in this different kind of part of Sudan, you know? If we combine it or compare it with Arab Spring, I don't like to make a competitions, but our problem, it is like really grassroots. It is have a different branch. For those they don't know about Sudan, because Sudan they have a genocide in different two areas, Nuba Mountain and Darfur, where I came from, and then the city. When the thing is uprising now, people they said, this is Arab Spring. Unfortunately, I would say no. It is African revolutions. We are African. We are Sudanese. We started that. And the second thing about women, we have a long history about women revolutions. It's not the first time to be in the first lines in Sudan because of this demonstration or this uprising. Women have been participated before we got born also. Women, they have a long history in Sudan. They have women associations, Women United in Sudan. They have a long history, you can read about it. First doctor in Sudan is women, you know? To see that the women now, they participated because we are fed up with men. We are fed up that is everything but leading by man. And for more than 30 years now, we are just in the shadow of this man. Yeah, this is the reality. I'm saying that because really, personally, that is, yes, this is a time to say sorry. We have our voice, we can fight, and we have our right also to be in the first lines by not pushing, or thanks for that, but because our duty. Thank you so much.
There are two points we need to make it clear that when we talk and when we think that now only the Sudanese women are coming back to the first line because of the oppression that have been made by this Muslim Brotherhood government since 1989. Sudan was not like this before. We all know that. Our teachers, our doctors, our grandmothers are even more educated and open-minded than a lot of women have been unfortunately raised under this regime. The blame is on the regime itself. The blame is on their programs to divide the country. There is a normal location for the woman, the Sudanese woman, in the front, and now it is taking it back against the oppression that have been made from this fascist regime. First of all. The second thing is regarding the revolution and regarding the oppression, regarding the secession and the genocide in Darfur, in Jabal al-Nuba, in a lot of areas inside Sudan. This government have killed and by themselves. And al-Bashir himself, he announced that they have killed more than 10,000 from the Sudanese citizens in Darfur. So all this needs to be accountable. This is why we are uprising now. That this is not only the murders in this revolution are on our necks. No, we are trying and we will to get the right and to do the right thing for all the one who have been oppressed under this government and under the prior dictatorship government also in Sudan. Thank you.
Vielleicht meine Idee ist ein bisschen anders als was Montosse und May erwähnt haben. Und zwar, ich denke auch, dass die arabischen Revolution unterscheidet sich nicht sehr viel von was im Sudan im Moment passiert. Da denke ich, ist es nicht die anders. Das die lange Zeit der Diktatur, die in Ägypten, in Tunesien, in Algerien, das ist nicht viel anders, als was wir heute in Sudan haben. Natürlich sind wir Sudanesen in erster Linie, wir sind auch Afrikaner, aber ich denke, was die Menschen verbindet, wenn sie unter einem Diktator leiden, ist das Gleiche. Ob wir in Ägypten, ob wir in Syrien, ob wir in Deutschland, ich denke, das ist das Gleiche. Und deswegen sehe ich die Problematik, die heute in Sudan stattfindet, das, was heute passiert, eigentlich interessiert niemand. Wir sehen heute viele Probleme. Wir sehen, wie Menschen auf der Straße erschossen werden. Wir sehen, dass Menschen, die vor ihrer Freiheit auf der Straße gehen, werden direkt mit scharfen Munitionen einfach erschossen. Mit welchen Munitionen werden sie erschossen? Eigentlich mit europäischen Waffen. Das ist eine Frage, die mich sehr interessiert. Mich interessiert sehr, ich kriege sehr viel Unterstützung hier in Deutschland von sehr vielen deutschen Freunden. Und die interessieren sich wohl für die Interessen Deutschlands. Wie kriegt man das hin, dass viele von diesen Menschen, die heute in Sudan die Revolutionären attackieren, eigentlich sind sehr gut ausgebildete Polizisten. Wo haben sie ihre Ausbildung erhalten? Wie wurden sie ausgebildet? Mit welchen Geldern? Wenn wir heute den Sudan betrachten, wir sehen, dass das Brot kostet heute dreifach, als was vor einigen Monaten gekostet hat. Die Menschen haben kein Benzin, um zur Arbeit zu fahren. Die Kinder haben kein Brot, um zur Schule zu gehen. Die Angestellten kriegen es nicht hin, zur Arbeit zu fahren, ganz regulär. Ich habe 3 Geschwister, die arbeiten gehen. Die sind alle Uni-Absolventen. Alle 3 kriegen es nicht hin, wirklich das Alltagbrot vor zu Hause zu organisieren. Und das ist phänomenal. Da müssen wir uns fragen, wie wird das im Sudan gemacht? Wie? Wenn wir jetzt, von Mai haben wir gehört, von der Sudan-Prozess oder Khartoum-Prozess actually. Und Khartoum-Prozess hat zugesichert Milliarden von Geldern für Afrika, nicht nur für den Sudan, aber wohin fließen diese Gelder? An wem gehen sie? Wer profitiert davon? Und ich persönlich denke, der Unterschied zwischen die Demonstrationen, die 2013, 2011 und heute stattgefunden haben, ist das Einzige, dass heute die Polizisten viel ausgebildeter sind als 2011. Aber viel anders ist das nicht. Das Phänomen ist das gleiche, die Sudanesen gehen auf der Straße, sie werden verhaftet, sie werden unterdrückt, aber der Unterschied, was ich heute sehe, wie die Polizisten gegen Menschen eigentlich kämpfen oder auftreten. Dieser Auftritt ist einfach anders. Sehen Sie bitte diese Filme, die werden natürlich im ZDF nicht gezeigt, die werden nicht in die ARD gezeigt, die werden nirgendwo gezeigt. Da muss man alleine suchen und gucken, wie werden sie bekämpft, wie viele neue Autos hat die Polizei und das Geheimdienst in Khartoum alleine. Abgesehen von den anderen Städten. Wenn wir dann davon hören, dass eine Stadt wie Kassala, die hat nicht mal ein Krankenhaus, aber Tausende und Abertausende von Toyotas, die Demonstranten verfolgen. In Khartoum laufen Tausende von neuen Autos, die neuesten Toyotas, die Demonstranten in jedem Stadtbezirk, in jedem Kiez verfolgen sie die Demonstranten. Und das, was ich eigentlich nicht mit der Idee eigentlich vereinbaren kann, dass diese Demonstrationen so gut organisiert sind. Nein, die sind von den Menschen einfach, die Menschen haben es satt. Wie Montasse das gesagt hat, tatsächlich, die Menschen haben es satt. Aber die sind nicht organisiert, sie sind nicht von irgendwelcher Partei oder Assoziationen oder irgendwie, dass sie tatsächlich organisiert sind. Die sind freiwillig, die gehen auf der Straße, weil sie es satt haben. Sie wollen eine Veränderung, sie wollen diese Diktatur abschaffen, aber mit den Kräften, die sie haben. Und die sind unorganisiert. Und deswegen brauchen sie eure Aufmerksamkeit, sie brauchen eure Unterstützung, sie brauchen die Frage zu stellen, wohin geht das Entwicklungshilfegelder, wohin fließen sie, in welchen Taschen, wenn wir sehen. Und ich persönlich, mit meinem langes Leiden als Sudanesen und mit alles, was ich gesehen habe in meinem Land, denke ich, dass warum sie mit scharfen Munitionen gegen die Demonstranten schießen, nicht weil der Sudan ein armes Land ist, nein, weil sie so viel Geld haben und sie dieses Geld nicht rauskriegen können. Sie möchten noch mehr Geld in den Taschen kriegen, sie wollen noch mehr das Land verarmen und meines Erachtens, das ist nicht viel anders als was damals in Ägypten passiert oder was wir heute immer noch in Syrien oder Irak erleben. Da sage ich, dass Revolutionen oder wenn Menschen gegen ein Regime auftreten, dann ist das Gleiche, ob das in Deutschland oder ob das in Sudan oder egal. Vielen Dank.
Any questions? I come back to you, yeah? Naji, please. As you want.
طيب أحيي أنا ناجي كوكو الحركة الشعبية لتحرير السودان شمال. في البدء أحيي الممثل المهنيين ونحن نشيد بالخطوات الكبيرة اللي قاموا بها في الفترة اللي فاتت في قيادة الثورة حتى الآن وبنجاح، وبنعتبره ده جزء من كل العمل الثوري ممتد من فترة طويلة في السودان، وبنعتبره برضه جزء من عمل الحركات إذا اعتبرناه هو جزء فيه جانب مسلح، وبنعترف بالجانب السلمي، ويمكن المبادرات اللي قمنا بها في الوضع الراهن في وقف لإطلاق النار متفق بين كل الحركات حتى نقدر نخلي سلمية الثورة تمشي وبنحيي. عندي سؤالين. السؤال الأول لمي.
This is Naji, a member of the Sudanese People Liberation Movement. And thank you for all of you, and especially thank for Montasse who is representing the تجمع المهنيين, the Sudanese Professional Association. And I have two questions.
السؤال الأول يا مي، يمكن مي ذكرت قبل إنه في عدم دعم من أو في دعم في قبول من الحكومات الأوروبية بصورة عامة، ممكن ألمانيا، وقالت إنه في دعم كبير للحكومة السودانية، وأنا بتفق معاه، بس نحن دورنا كسودانيين موجودين في الخارج وفي نشاطات كتار شنو في إننا ممكن نعري الصورة بتاعت النظام بصورة أوضح، صورة المنظمات اللي بتتعامل مع النظام، ويمكن برضه في دور بتاع الميديا. نحن بنعمل مظاهرات كثيرة ممكن يكون فيها شكل بتاع إبداع، تكون قدام بعض السفارات اللي بتدعم مثلا زي سفارة قطر أو حتى السفارة الألمانية أو مثلا وزارة الخارجية، أو دورنا في الميديا ممكن نصور الثورة بصورة تقبل قبول عام.
I think this was summary what he's asked about it, because before I mentioned that there are a lot of support from EU, and he asked how we can do something to prevent that there is EU countries they not supporting Sudan, and also he mentioned that how we can organize ourselves to make different kind of actions for those countries they supporting Sudan like Qatar and extra. My question back, that is, if, I mentioned in the beginning that EU had been supporting Sudan with the Sudan deal in 2016, and still the support is what's going, because if we observing now what happened in Sudan, the EU, they're not standing up to even to write any statements. It's a short statement that I found, and the example that is what happened in Paris, you know, the yellow fist, that is in one day, all the media was covering by that. We have the issue of Sudan started in 19 December. We are standing in front of the foreign minister. We are having a demo in different places, but nobody interested in Sudan, by the way, because they want to keep the regime. This is a business. The second thing, they want to also prevent the refugee to come back to Europe. This is very clear from beginning, not EU. But our role, our task, we should not keep silence. This is what we are planning for it. Because our silence can kill many people, it's not in Sudan, all the people who are also. What we are planning to do, and if you follow in the group, that is, we are welcoming everybody who want to help in this regime to come down. We are opening our door for any kind of support. We will have a strategy for the coming days to show the people that what we need exactly. For those people, they're not who are Sudanese, but they are in solidarity. This is one thing. The second thing for those Sudanese, we have different kind of actions. This talk just for awareness today, but we are planning for more actions targeting the media, because the media is the spine of everything. But here the media, you have to force them, because Sudan is not in the interest of the German, you know. But it's our task and our role, that is, we have to target the media by ourselves. We have to find a way that is, we raise our voice, and through you, I mean you who are here, we are welcome everybody. We have a group that we're working in this Sudan uprising to mobilize people, to make awareness, and also to make a plan, action plan for different places, like not in Berlin only. We have in Hamburg, we have in Hanover, and now coming week, we're going to Brussels in the front of the United Nations to protest. For me, action in front of the embassies, sometimes it doesn't work, but they have this office inside the foreign minister is responsible about Sudan. We should force them by writing letters, because sometimes you have to be annoying, then they can awake, because their business is more than human being, you know? And this is what I observed for the last couple of years. That is, they are not interested about what you are saying, but interested in how the regime continue. But that was the time we have to work, and we have to involve the others, and also we have the strategies coming in the coming days. Maybe we share it with you in your contacts. That is what we want to do for the comings. And I hope by the end of this next month, or we can have a revolution in Sudan. Thank you.
سؤالي الأخير بسيط للأخ ممثل المهنيين. أنا بفتكر إنه التجربة بتاعت المهنيين تجربة رائدة في شبيهة بحكومة الهيئات في فترة الستينات في مرحلة ما بعد عبود، بس في تساؤلات كثيرة بتثير القوى الوطنية حول التجربة. السؤال هل أنتم بعد هي سقطت، نحن مقتنعين إنه سقطت أساسا، هل أنتم بعد ما سقطت هتحاولوا تكونوا حزب سياسي ولا حتزوقوا تمسكوا الفترة الانتقالية؟ وسؤال شوية. والحاجة الثانية بس بنشكو من بصورة عامة الناس بيشكوا من الوجود بتاعكم، يعني وجود ممثلين لكم اسم كبير، بس الممثلين يعني احنا بنعرف 4 5 أسامي. شكرا.
I think, or he thinks that the Tejmع, the Sudanese Professional Association, is doing a great job, and actually we are certain that the regime of Bashir is done. But the question is, what is your project after the revolutions? So, are you able to rule the country after the Bashir and his regime gone. And the other question was, he's a little bit irritated about the Sudanese Professional Association because if you just follow the social media, you'll see the actions that have been done in Sudan or in Europe, but from this Professional Sudanese Association, you only know like 3 or 4 names. And the question was a little bit ironic. Who are they and where are they?
First of all, we are here and there. We are inside Sudan and we are outside of Sudan. Sudanese Professional Association is not a ghost, but we are syndicates. The syndicates, they do have a base and they do have a top. And those syndicates, they have formed the Sudanese Professional Association, and for the colleagues that are inside Sudan, we are keeping them for security reasons, because apparently when we announced on the 1st of January through one of the representatives, Dr. Al-Assam, he was arrested 24 hours later. And till now we didn't hear from him. This is for this regarding where are you? We are here and there, and for the political parties, they know us. For the foreign forces and access in this world, they know us. We have our back channels, and the speakers of the SPA are only for raising our voice and reflecting our vision towards what's happening in Sudan. This is regarding this question. Regarding what we will do after the revolution, we are syndicates. What syndicates will do? We will work as syndicates. We will be the savior, and we will be the guardian of the freedom through our power of syndicates. We will make sure that who's coming on the period in 4 years for preparation for a democratic new government, he will be on the path that our revolution will not be stolen by other political forces or other forces whatsoever. I hope that I have answered this. Regarding the similarity of what's happening now and what happened on the 1964, yes. And as I said earlier, that we have analyzed what happened in Sudan since 1956, and we have seen what were our problems in the 64 revolution, in 1985 revolution, and what we are doing now is we are trying to minimize the errors that happened in those eras. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We still have like a bit time for a couple of questions, and I would suggest that we collect them like all, and so that we can spare some time. Shadi, I think it's yours.
Hello.
Yeah.
Actually, mine is not question. I want to add something, and I prefer to say it in English or Arabic, but I want Manaat translate to German for our German colleagues, because I think this is very important for us as women to understand that. Yes. طيب ليه النساء السودانيات هسه في الفرونت لاين في الثوره؟ هم في الصف الاول لانهم منظمات. النساء في السودان بعد القهر اللي حصل لهم من النظام ده من بدايه التسعينات بالقوانين بتاعت النظام العام اللي هي اتغيرت بعد ذاك لقانون المجتمع والدريس كود والمحاصره في المجال العام، النساء السودانيات كونوا تحالف من النساء المثقفات
والهاي educated في بروفيسورات في جامعات وكده، ناس سعاد ابراهيم احمد وعدد كبير جدا من النساء طلعوا اكبر مظاهره ضد النظام كانت سنه 96. كانت مظاهره كبيره جدا جلدوا فيها النساء كتار جدا. سنه المقاومه استمرت بعد ذلك وابتدينا ندخل كمجموعات نسويه كبيره جدا ومنظمه، الاتحاد النسائي وعدد من المنظمات النسويه وعدد من منظمات المجتمع المدني في صراع مع السلطه، وفي الاخر هم كانوا مستهينين بقوه النساء فبدوا يعملوا معاهم مفاوضات. المفاوضات دي ما افضت لحاجه غير تغيير بسيط في اشكال القوانين. سنه 2000 كان في مواجهه شرسه جدا جدا مع النظام دي، وهذول عدد كبير جدا من المنظمات النسويه. الاتحاد النسائي، عدد من المنظمات المنبثقه من احزاب، وعدد كبير جدا من منظمات المجتمع المدني. المواجهه دي كانت بسبب انه والي ولايه الخرطوم قرر انه النساء ما يشتغلوا، ما يطلعوا للعمل. فلما حصل الضغوط قال بس يشتغلوا في التدريس والتمريض. لما حصل الضغوط اكبر اضطرينا نواجه مواجهه كبيره جدا وطلعنا مظاهرات كبيره جدا في 3 مناطق، واضطرينا في الاخر نصعد، وكان في تضامن عالمي كبير جدا من الاتحاد العالمي للنساء الديمقراط وعدد من المنظمات الفيمينيست وعدد من الاتحادات النسويه حول العالم وهيئات عالميه. واجهنا النظام، وكانت اول سابقه انه تمت شكوى النظام في المحكمه الدستوريه، وكانت مواجهه كبيره جدا لدرجه انه رئيس النظام عمر البشير استدعانا للقصر الجمهوري وحاول يعمل معانا مفاوضات، ونحن كان كلامنا واحد. اول حاجه بنلبس الدايرينو وبنشتغل لو النظام ده وافق او ما وافق. كانت حاجه شرسه جدا. انا واحده من الناس لما مشيت كنت لابسه ما لابسه طرحه وما لابسه توب، والحرس في القصر الجمهوري منعوني ادخل. زميلاتي يعني 2 منهم كانوا 3 لابسين ثياب، اصروا قالوا انه دي هي شايله المذكره، لو هي ما دخلت نحن ما حندخل، ونحن ما محتاجين نفاوض اي انسان، نحن حنعمل اللي عايزينه. كانت وقفه قويه جدا جدا بفتكر من النساء، واشتكينا في المحكمه الدستوريه، وبعد ذاك كتبت عنها صحف في العالم وفي السودان، فقرر النظام انه بعد ذاك يسكت الموضوع، والقضيه لسه موجوده في اعضاء المحكمه الدستوريه باي ذا واي ما اتحكمت، لكن البشير طلع قرار بانه ما يتكتب عنها في اي صحيفه وما يصار الإيشو ده، وبعد ذاك يعني سكتوا من قصه الشغل وما الشغل، بس منعوا البنات يشتغلوا في طلبات البنزين. بعدها سنه 2009 في حادثه انه جلدت صحفيه او حكمت صحفيه لانها كانت لابسه بنطلون. بالنسبه لنا احنا كان الايشو ما بنطلون، بالنسبه لنا الايشو النظام ده كان لازم يتواجه. كونا حركه نسويه برضه واسعه جدا جدا اللي هي مبادره لقهر النساء، فيها اعضاء individuals وفيها منظمات كبيره جدا نسويه، عدد كبير من المنظمات النسويه، وبرضه تمت مواجهه النظام ده وطلعت مظاهرات مئات النساء في الشارع ولزمن طويل جدا جدا، والمبادره لسه موجوده. فبعد ذاك بدينا شغالين في انه حتى بيعات الاطعمه والمشروبات لانه ضايقوهم، ستات الشاي ضايقوهم بالكشات وبالغرامات وكده. يعني اشتغلنا ووصلنا شغل كثير جدا، وما نفرين، عدد كبير جدا من المنظمات، عدد كبير جدا من النساء اشتغلوا. النساء ديل الليله بقى يعني عندهم اتحاد كبير جدا اسمه اتحاد بيعات الاطعمه والمشروبات، ومعترف به عالميا لانهم يعني معترف بهم كاتحاد تعاوني. فانا افتكر انه النساء الليله ده تتويج لنضالات بتاعت 30 سنه. النساء صمدوا 30 سنه، واجهوا 30 سنه، وزي اول اورجنايز. النساء الليله في الصف الاول ليه؟ لانهم منظمات، وحتى الجروبات في الميديا الليله كلهم منظمات. يعني في عدد الجروبات بتاعتهم دي في منظمات نسويه كثيره، في اتحادات كثيره، في تجمع بتاع النساء السياسيات ونساء المجتمع المدني اسمه منسم. فانا بفتكر انه ده ثمره لتنظيم طويل ولنضالات طويله. دي حبيت اقول، واتمنى انه مالات تقدر توصلها. يعني
اتمنى. Ja, die letzten Worte, die Shadi gesagt hat, vielleicht ist das Kern der Sache. Und zwar, das ist, was heute oder die Beteiligung der sudanesischen Frauen
was heute passiert, ist eigentlich eine Chronik ihrer langjährigen organisiertes Widerstand gegen was alles an Repressionen im Sudan passierte in den vielen Jahren, gegen verschiedene Gesetze, die zum Beispiel was das vorschreiben, was die Menschen anziehen oder was die Frauen anziehen müssen, wie sie sich ankleiden dürfen, oder auch die allgemeine Ordnung oder Gesetz vor allgemeine Ordnung, denke ich, wie jetzt übersetzt wird, und das besagt oder das erklärt, wie die Frauen sich zu verhalten haben in die Öffentlichkeit oder in den öffentlichen Plätzen. Und dieses hat dazu geführt, dass viele Frauen dagegen aufgestanden sind oder vorgegangen sind. Insbesondere die Frauenunion, andere organisierten Frauen, das kam zur Spitze im Jahr 2000, als die jetzige Regierung erklärte, dass die sudanesischen Frauen nicht arbeiten dürfen. Dagegen gab es einen großen Widerstand und wurde gekrönt in das Verfassungsgericht, wo die Frauen vorgegangen sind und haben die Regierung angeklagt vor das Verfassungsgericht und durften die Klage einreichen oder vortragen. Und folgedessen wurde dieses geändert. Die Erfolge, die heute noch zu sehen sind, dass viele Frauen arbeiten dürfen, viele, besonders zum Beispiel Frauen, die an der Straßenrand Tee oder Essen verkaufen dürfen, haben ihre eigenen Organisationen gegründet, und dies wurde oder hat bis heute Erfolg gehabt. Das Weitere ist, dass zum Beispiel eine Organisation La Liga Nisa gegen das Repressionen von Frauen im Sudan, die Organisation hat heute immer noch Erfolg bei verschiedenen Stellungnahmen gegen Repressionen an Frauen, und deswegen sieht Shadia, dass die sudanesische Frau ist nicht weit von was tatsächlich jeden Tag passiert, und deswegen sind sie eigentlich organisierter und an der ersten Linie an der Front, und die können das zeigen, wie sie organisiert sind. Danke.
Yeah, well,
ja. Das Einzige, was mir noch fehlte, dass es Shadia hat im Rahmen dieser das Vortragen dieses Petition, sollte sie an das ja, dass sie durfte eigentlich nicht rein, weil sie sich anders angekleidet hat, als was das Dresscode angeht oder vorschreibt. Und die anderen Frauen haben sie aber sie wurde nicht reingelassen wegen ihrer Anziehen oder ihrer Bekleidung, und deswegen haben die Frauen gesagt, ohne Shadia würden sie nicht reingehen.
Und sie durfte rein eigentlich.
I would say we have time for two questions. Please make it as short as possible.
Mahdi, this one. Here.
Liza, then.
Yeah, my question is, you mentioned countries that officially support the Sudanese revolution, and I wanted to ask which one are those and how are they supporting the revolution?
Maybe we can hear the other questions and then we'll answer them together.
Just my question to actually thank you everybody in the panel Thank you also, Shaggy, for adding that every struggle is a accumulation of a struggle for the last 30 years for any kind of sector in Sudan. Just my question is to the East Professional Association, as now the confrontation is quite different. Now we have a martial law, we have a state of emergency, now we are actually dealing with a state of militarized state. Now we're dealing directly with a military state. What kind of strategies and tactics that SPA has for this kind of militarized state? Especially now, I've seen that Sudanese Professional Association, that they were mobilizing most of the last movement happening the last 2 months is what we mobilized among the middle class, and basically mostly professional associations like doctors, engineers, and older students. And I'm still wondering that now we have this kind of confrontation that I see that like Sudanese Professional Association was taking this peaceful struggle toward the way also with kind of a radical approach that they don't want to reproduce the regime or giving any kind of just a theater change. And if we are going through that we are mobilizing ourselves just among the middle class, what kind of strategies and tactics to go outside this middle class bubble that basically in main cities like Khartoum, Atbara, and also what we call it, like I see for example in the page in the Facebook, they announced a demo in what they call it the Aryaf, which is actually showing that the mentality behind Sudanese professionals agree. It's more middle class orientations, because you cannot just say the Aryaf, you need to decide which kind of Aryaf, which kind of rural area, which kind of problems that you are discussing. And also inside the declarations, in the economic, like in all of this political and economical part, they are mostly that this is directions toward like personal freedoms, you know, which actually Bashir have understood it when he is coming to public order and talk against the public order. What kind of political movement that we wanted now to do if we want to be radical in the way that we don't want this regime to reproduce itself in Islamic movement. And also I see in the first speech that you were talking about international community. As I don't think so, I don't know, this is not my direction, I'm supporting this revolution, but this is not my direction because Troika was being there in 2005 when Sudan had been separated. So basically, also international community is also reproducing itself as a kind of interest, especially USA, Norway, and UK, especially as you're looking at Sudan as one of their own property. So I want really to understand this kind of national front or patriot fronts that Sudanese Professional Association is creating. Other thing, I really appreciate also this is my question. Because this will take so long to answer, I don't know.
Maybe we hear the last question first, and then we answer the question.
That's not the last, because...
عندي سؤال بس بتجمع المهنيين. فأنا أعرف ما الخدمة اللي بتقدمها تجمع المهنيين مثلا غير الخدمة الإعلامية. هم عارفين إنه في اقتسامات مثلا ليلية ومظاهرات ليلية. هل بيقدم مثلا يعني خدمات طبية الأكل ومثلا عندك الأكل والشرب عشان الخدمات مثلا تخلي المظاهرات تستمر. فلازم النقطة دي توضح لأنه لازم الشعب يعني يثق في المهنيين بالخدمات اللي بيقدمها، مثلا ما الخدمة الإعلامية فقط، يعني على الأرض لازم تكون في خدمات ملموسة.
The question in English, does the Sudanese Professional Association providing food, medical care for the protesters in Sudan or not?
Thanks, amazing discussion, and it's mostly about Sudanese revolution and what you need to do here, Sudanese people. So I'm almost not inclined to speak. My one question would follow on from what Ahmed just said there before. There are, for example, strikes in the ports, Sudan port, and those are against privatization, but what are the links? Because to fight a real state of emergency, you will need all those people in this sort of power. And I really appreciated your comments on the EU, because that's what we should be doing. Because Sudan Uprising Germany is such an amazing group which is working mainly with Sudanese people. We started a second group, then Stand with Sudan Uprising. We made that mobilizing video you saw called The Demo Saturday last. And we have other actions there. What's really important is looking around is that there are so many Sudanese people on the demos and not as many as we need of Germans, white, non-Sudanese. We really need to get organised. So it's an appeal to you to look at that Facebook page. Next Friday we'll be meeting to try and develop street theatre and art type approaches for the demos and so on. And we really need to make it much more concrete. The attack on the EU support for Bashir. For example, in the last Cairo summit now, the EU sitting around with al-Sisi and so on, they told al-Bashir not to come, so his photo isn't there, but they give him the money to kill the people. It's killing paid for by the EU, and that's what we have to stop. And we will need more power for that. Please, if you look at our Facebook, first of all, Stand With Sudan Uprising, we're appealing to people to take part in those various actions. There will, for example, on the Women's Day, the 8th of March, be a Sudanese speaker, woman Sudanese speaker at the main rally, and they get 8,000 to 10,000 people. So that's pretty important to try and make that a big grouping with all your wonderful rhythms and slogans and all the rest of it. But really to try and build, all of us here who are not Sudanese need to be building that reaction against the EU, breaking the silence, finding journalists to report, and journalists' organisations who would complain at all the nasty things that are happening to journalists and others. Okay.
Thank you.
Does anyone have a question or yeah, please?
تحية طيبة لمؤسسة مع المهنيين السودانيين في ألمانيا. أنا سعيد جدا إنه أول حاجة إنه أكون قاعد وأسمع فيكم، وأنا أفتكر إن دي حاجة يعني مؤثرة جدا وعندها تأثير حتى للناس الموجودين هنا في ألمانيا. بس كنت عاوز توضيح بسيط إنه يعني الدور بتاعنا إحنا نشوف كناس موجودين هنا في ألمانيا حتى لو كان بسيط ممكن يكون بيخدم في التجمع بتاع المهنيين اللي هو بيخدم الخط العام بتاع الثورة السودانية. والحاجه اللي كنت عايز اتكلم عنها ببساطه هو في كل تجمع بتاع السودانيين قاعد يحصل تظهر المشاكل بتاعت الهويه والتفاصيل بتاعت انه احنا افارقه عرب ما اعرف قضايا المراه قضايا تفصيليه ممكن تكون ما ذات اهميه في القضيه المرحليه حاليا بالنسبه لنا احنا. القضيه بتاعت الجندر المراه رجل، القضيه بتاعت الزول من دارفور، الزول من جبال النوبه، الزول في النهايه حاليا القضيه المركزيه هو سقوط النظام اللي كان السبب الاساسي والاشكال الاساسي في كل المشاكل الموجوده، سواء كانت تمصرت في عرقيه او جهويه او تمصرت في شكل بتاع تفرقه بتاع سلع عمريه او تعمل فيه اشكال حقيقي في موضوع المراه والرجل او الى اخره من التنظيرات اللي حاليا ما تمثل لنا اهميه. حاليا احنا القضيه المرحليه بالنسبه لنا هي اسقاط النظام. الشيء الاخير انا ما اطيل في كلام، الشيء الاخير اللي عاوز اعلق عليه انه الطريقه انا ملاحظ في الاعلام السوداني، في الاعلام عموما او الاعلام السوداني تحديدا، انه في عمليه بتاعت زي ما بيقولوا كده عمليه بتاعت افتراس للتجمع بتاع المهنيين السودانيين من يعني من قبل جهات اعلاميه معينه في السودان، مثلا برامج بتاع طاهر حسن التومه والى اخره من البرامج السودانيه اللي هي طبعا واحده من اعلامات النظام في السودان، وهي بتتطرق لافتراس التجمع بتاع المهنيين لانها بتعتقد انه هي دل الجهه او المؤسسه اللي حتقضي عليهم يعني، فلا رد فعل طبيعي. فالحاله اللي بقدر اعلق لها تحديدا في الموضوع ده انه يكون رد الفعل مع التعامل مع الحكومه السودانيه في الافتراسات دي يعني او في الكلام اللي بيكون له تاثير على التجمع بتاع المهنيين، انه ما يكون برد الفعل يعني ما احنا من ظهر وين تجمع المهنيين، ظهر من وين وكده، بيكون دائما رد الفعل تجمع المهنيين انه والله تجمع المهنيين كان تاسيسه منذ 2010 وكده. فدي انا اعتقد انه تبريرات ما في داعي لها نقولها تجمع المهنيين، لانه كفايه انه الجسم الوحيد اللي قدر يمثل تمثيل حقيقي للشعب السوداني، لحد الان كل الشعب السوداني متفق عليه توتالي. وحين لما نقول تجمع المهنيين حنطلع في خطين من المنطقه الفلانيه والمنطقه الفلانيه، بيتواجد الشباب السوداني في الشارع من ساعه من التوقيت المطروح من تجمع المهنيين الى ان ينتهي الوقت مو ينتهي فعليا يعني الناس ترجع بيها وترجع ثاني، لكن يعني حاجه كويسه جدا جدا. فالتوافق قاعد توافق شعبوي على التجمع بتاع المهنيين. فكون المتوطن يقول ان ده جو ظهر من وين ومندسين وعارف شنو الكلام اللي بيتقال حاليا في الاعلام بتاع المتوطن ده، انا بشوف ان دي يعني قصه بتاعت يعني حاول لانه يقلل المجهودات بتاعت التجمع المهنيين، وحس حاليا الخط هو خط دعم مباشر للتجمع المهنيين. وانا بس عاوز اتكلم عن الحته بتاعت الردود الافعال من التجمع المهنيين، انه يا اخي القصه دي ما تدير لها انتباه، وهي بتاثر على الراي العام طبعا، لكن ما تكون القضيه اساسيه انه ترجع على المطار الوطني هو افصل التجمع المهنيين شنو احنا لا عارفين التجمع المهنيين هو شنو. شكرا جزيلا.
Okay, just to summarize what he said, because we don't catch everything, but I think the first thing that is, he was mentioning that the gender issue, that is not the issue now, we have to discuss about it, if I'm correct. And the second thing that is the ethnic group, that is, this is from this region and this region, also is not the issue is the revolution now. And the summary, what he said for this long statement, that is, the group, the Mihani group, they was defending themselves when the government they was making a fake informations or was targeting them, and he said it's not the time that is you should also make self-defense and introducing yourself all the time. We are starting from this and we are doing this and this. I think the time now we have to go forward, and this is somehow what he said, and I'm sorry if I just don't catch everything, and I will give the mic to Mutasir to continue. Sorry, Mustafa, and then I think we have probably the time now. Very short, please.
Short as possible, and then...
Yeah, because sitting here also, that is not healthy too much.
I try to ask real quickly or short. السؤال المنتصر موجه للمنتصر، الأسئلة هتكون كلها تجمع المهنيين يعني. سؤالي تجمع المهنيين يعني تجمع المهنيين حاليا هو هو اللي بينظم المظاهرات في السودان، بينظم الثورة بطريقة جميلة جدا، ولقى قبول ولقى صيغة من الشارع السوداني. ودي حاجة جميلة جدا. السؤال مباشر ليه تجمع المهنيين في دور إعلامي بسيط يعني. الدور الإعلامي ضعيف جدا لأن الثورة محتاجة دور إعلامي. حاليا في الشارع ما في مشكلة، يعني في الميدان في الشارع وكذا في الأحياء وكذا ما في مشكلة في الجانب ده. كذلك الجانب الخارجي برضه السودانيين موجودين في الخارج، لكن الإشكال بيبقى في إنه في المسألة بتاعت الإعلام. ليه تجمع المهنيين يعني الآن الثورة حاليا دخلت في الشارع الثاني تجمع المهنيين تجمع المهنيين والصغر الحضورية تجمع المهنيين من الشارع السوداني، إذا عمل يعني إذا في قضايا إعلامية أو في جانب إعلامي قضايا إعلامية كانت أو راديو حتى صنباش راديو يعني ساكن برضه حيلقى قبول، لأنه يعني الناس هسه حاليا بتلقى أخبار أو بتلقى الأخبار بتاع الثورة يعني مثال زي إحنا موجودين في الخارج بنلقى أخبار الثورة وبنتابع أخبار الثورة اللي هو من الفيسبوك اللي هو الميديا يعني اللي هو الوسائل بتاعت الفيسبوك أو التويتر أو اليوتيوب. أكرر السؤال اللي هو بس الجانب الإعلامي اللي ما في قناة رسمية خاصة بتجمع المهنيين أو مختصة بقضايا الثورة السودانية يعني تنظم قضايا الثورة. شكرا.
His question in a very short words. Why the Sudanese Professional Association does not have access to the media? He claims or he thinks the access, I don't know if he means the mainstream media or he means social media, I don't know, but he's,
Independent media.
Independent media, okay. He said they have a very weak access to the media, although the media actually is the most important element in every revolution.
Thank you. Like each of you has another chance to say the final words while answering the question, please.
I think my final word will be that is, first of all, thanking all the people that take time, because I know that it's the middle of the week. And what I want to say that is to mention that the 8th of March is a Women's Day, and we are doing a lot to participate in that day. The second thing that is on 2nd of March, we are going to Brussels for the big demo. Who want to join, welcome. And don't worry about the space. We can sleep together everywhere. We have used to do that. The third thing that is our group is open for everybody who want to join, having any ideas, but our ideas, it will be published in the coming days, our strategy, that what we want to do, and what is our scenarios also that we are discussing now after the revolutions. And even if the revolutions not happen, also we have a scenario, don't worry. We prepare everything, and also that is, I'm glad that we have voice of women now in the stage. Most of the time it's occupied by men. I don't have problem with man, don't take it personally. And then just, that is, yes, we have the time to speak all loud together, you know? And our website, Facebook, it is in Facebook, and then we can translate to different languages that people may not feel, they don't understand anything. And yeah, we will keep updating you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. Danke. Danke erstmal für diese Chance, Ihnen ein bisschen zu erzählen, was den Sudan angeht, weil das ist tatsächlich in den Medien nicht erwähnt oder einfach ausbleibt. Und zweitens, dass wir als Menschen in Afrika immer noch die Unterstützung der deutschen Gesellschaft brauchen. Und das ist eine große Unterstützung, die wir heute von der Rosa-Luxemburg-Stiftung haben. Ich hoffe, dass die nicht alleine bleiben und andere Organisationen sollen folgen. Das ist willkommen, weil alle Menschen, egal wo, brauchen wirklich in erster Linie Unterstützung. Was ich wichtig finde in der jetzigen Zeit, dass erstmal Transparenz zu machen, was unsere Verantwortung ist. Wir tragen Verantwortung für was unsere Regierungen hier in Deutschland machen, was die EU macht. Diese Angst vor Flüchtlingsströmungen, dass sie in das Regime als Partner sehen, und dieser lange Prozess, was in Afrika passiert, dass das zum Beispiel, dass Omar al-Bashir persönlich ist vor dem Internationalen Gerichtshof eigentlich verlangt wird, dennoch wird das ignoriert und werden viele Abkommen mit der gleichen Person oder mit den gleichen Regierungen und Systemen auch gemacht. Das schadet einfach die Menschen. Und was ich wichtig zu erwähnen finde, dass eigentlich der umgekehrte Weg ist das erfolgreichste, dass wenn man diese Menschen unterstützt und diese Demokratieprozesse in den Ländern unterstützen würde, dann haben wir tatsächlich weniger Bewegung Richtung Europa. Nicht, weil Europa nicht schön ist, nein, weil die Menschen eigentlich in ihre Heimatländer bleiben würden. Das ist einfach Fakt, ob es Eritrea, ob es Sudan, ob es Libyen, ob es Burkina Faso, das ist das Gleiche. Und wenn die EU in Omar al-Bashir einen Partner findet, der eigentlich die Flüchtlingsströmungen stoppen sollte, ich finde das falsch. Wir haben gesehen in den letzten Monaten, dass es wenige Nachrichten über Flüchtlinge, die im Mittelmeer sterben, gibt. Und Fakt ist nicht, weil es keine Flüchtlinge den Weg nach Europa machen. Nein, sie machen den Weg aber woanders und die sterben in die Sahara. Weil die sudanesischen Kräfte eigentlich die Grenze schützen. Fragen Sie sich, was Frontex macht. Fragen Sie, was die EU für Politik macht. Warum gibt es so viele Gelder für die Sicherheitskräfte in den Sudan und ähnliche Länder? Das sind die Fragen, die gefragt oder dargestellt werden sollen. Das sind wichtige Fragen. Ich empfinde es als Verrat für Afrika, als Verrat für die Menschheit, wenn solche Abkommen immer geschlossen werden und die Bevölkerung in Deutschland nicht genug informiert wird. Es wird immer die Angst dargestellt vor Flüchtlingen, aber die Tatsache ist, was da in den Hintertüren gemacht wird, ist wichtig. Vielen Dank.
Weil Mudassir wird die Fragen auf Englisch beantworten und seine letzte Wort auch auf Englisch sagen will.
Okay, I hope that I can cover all the questions fairly. First of all, I did not say that there are countries with the revolution. I said the country's position when the revolution started was something on December, and now is another thing. Some countries are away from this regime. They were supporting this regime strongly on December when the revolution started, and in January a lot of them have been in the neutral position, and now also important axes in the world are taking hostile position towards the government, which is in our benefit, of course. This is what I stated, and I hope it's clear. Regarding the emergency laws and the martial laws that have been issued in Sudan, as Sudanese, we are living in this martial laws for the past 30 years, and a lot of our regions in Sudan are under direct bombing and shooting and killing of citizens. So I don't think that there is any difference between now and earlier, especially that still the same aggression have been made towards the protests in all Sudan. It's the same now. The only difference is now it's legal. This is the only difference. But as Sudanese, we have been facing this martial laws for the past 30 years. Regarding the middle class and the street, what we hope as a technocrat, as a professional association, is to make our part in spreading the know-how and the knowledge, and to make sure that the voice of the revolution and the voice of freedom and the voice of change based on our what we see right is as a declaration of change and freedom to all who are not in the middle class, to all are in all the regions of Sudan, and this is what's happening now from our basis, because SBA is not as you can say a central body. It's a body formed from syndicates. Those syndicates, we have our colleagues in all of Sudan, and they are participating in this. This leads me to what we are doing for the revolution, beside organizing it and overseeing it. The SPA memberships in their syndicates and all of the Sudanese political powers and Sudanese community, we are working together to support this, and we can make sure that we are doing what should be done to support this. Basically, you can see it in the support that have been made from the doctors in the mobile clinics at the strikes and at the protests, and also this led to more aggression from the regime towards the doctors themselves and the lawyers, helping a lot of protesters that have been, they don't know their rights, and they have been took by the forces that what should be legal forces of the government. They have been took by them, and the lawyers are supporting all the protesters in their claim against these forces. Regarding the other issues that we shouldn't talk about, politely and with all due respect, I disagree. This is the time to talk about every issue, gender issue, any issue that is important for us. This revolution is not only for changing this regime, this revolution is for changing every old taboo. We are here, we are there, and we will change Sudan to be a free country and to go forward in the world along with all the other issues that is characterizing the humanity in this century. Regarding the harassment and the aggression from the government towards the SBA in the media, it's not the issue. They are harassing the Sudanese citizens in the streets. They are harassing the Sudanese citizens in their houses. So when it comes to the media, we will deal with it also. We are not in the reaction position, and I do thank the person who made the question for his question. We are in the action position, and when we are in the reaction position, it's not for the government, it's not for the NCB, but we are in the reaction position for our citizens, for our community, because a lot of them they didn't hear about because they are they are not in the class or in the middle class, or they don't have access to media, or they don't have access to the social media and the internet and like that. So it's our duty to explain for everyone, and we will keep explaining, and we will keep protesting in the streets until تسقط بس. For the media, that why is one of the questions is why the media is weak. We have been faced that a lot of media channels, they are not interested in what is happening in Sudan, due of course to a lot of cross benefits with the government, especially they don't want this fever to go and spread in that area. We tried our best, and we are trying to reach everyone and to contact with every channels. And who can see the blind eye that they gave us on December is not the same eye in January, it's not the same eye now. We are here, we are speaking, we are going forward. Regarding the channel, there are technical issues. No one, when you are talking about a revolution, no one will give you a channel to broadcast from his government or from his land to address the Sudanese community. FM, radio, television, no one will give you that, especially in the area. What we made a website. We are doing our best through live videos, and we are doing our best through our speakers in the whole world, around the world. Six known speakers around the world, in the whole world, contacting the media, contacting the channels to spread the revolution news. And what's important is we are working now on, we have our, of course, YouTube channels, Telegram channels, all the media channels, the social media channels we have. Now we are working on some channels to as what you can say, it's a channel through the website with news broadcast, and as long as the Sudanese people are in the front of the streets, And as long as we are pushing this government backwards, of course, the balance of the benefits of a lot of access will be different. We will have our channel, and our aim is not the channel, we want our country back. This is the aim. Regarding the forces and what are the benefits of refugees, cross-check benefits between the government and the EU and the others, first of all, we do respect all the countries. Now we are not a government, we are a revolution. What we want to do and what is our aim is to remove this government, and we assure all the governments in our neighbor, in our region, in the whole world, that we will be in a cross benefits with them as long as we are in the same cross benefits with our citizens, with the humanity, and what is characterizing the humanitarian slogans and vision in this century. I hope that I covered it all. The last word I want to say is, and I'm sorry for taking so long in this replying. The last thing is, we need to spread the word of revolution. We need to tell who didn't heard about us. We need to discuss whoever is in our path. We need to do whatever we can do. We have a say in Sudan, from anyone as he can do, and from the ant as it can bite. The maximum the ant can do is it can bite you and you can feel it. Even if you are an ant, just give us that bite. Do whatever you can do, and by all of us being together, this government will go, and we will have our freedom country, and we will have our dream.
Also, vielen Dank an euch alle. Es gibt noch zwei wichtige Sachen. Das eine, ganz hinten sind Fragenbogen für das Haus hier. Und es wäre ganz toll, wenn ihr mal reinschaut und schreibt. Das ist sehr, sehr wichtig für das Haus. Zweitens, wie schon gesagt wurde, am Samstag findet eine Demo in Große statt, am 2.3. Das ist europaweit organisiert. Also wir aus Berlin fahren mit 2 Bussen hin, und es kam gerade die Anfrage von einer Gruppe aus Brandenburg, die auch gerne hin möchten, und die bitten sehr gerne euch auch an Spende. Das wäre sehr, sehr, sehr hilfreich für die.
I just want to announce also two stuff. Like there's
Sudan Uprising Germany.
Social media, Sudan Uprising. This is also the Sudanese community that is also stand with Sudan Uprising. Like Maria say, it's actually also for they have strategies and plan to put pressure on the European Union. Also, it's involved non-Sudanese citizens and Sudanese citizens, and it's called Stand with Sudan Uprising, and they have a really nice job done until now. And also Sudan Uprising Germany, it's also it's managed by Sudanese community. Follow that on Facebook for further events and further information.
Thank you. You'll find also our Facebook
Sudan Uprising Germany
page here on the front and the back sides. And regarding Brandenburg, please can you raise your hands? Here is Maes. And one final thing, he would like to share with you a little bit of information. But for my part, I will thank you so much for coming today, and also for your patience. And we will keep you updated for upcoming events. Thank you.